What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here, wishing you a happy new year and welcome you to part 33 of my Total Warhammer 3 Drycha Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Tala, Bitterbark, and Ikirin faced off against Azazel, who got way too distracted chasing down doggos and bears to properly join the fray, thus leaving his army to get destroyed, leaving his demonettes to get swarmed by aerial units, and basically got wrecked for his trouble. Now we're free to continue our pursuit of the Skaven here, and Helpit is worth quite a lot of sack value, so I'm hoping to destroy that. Now, what we want to do here is destroy this little Decasaur army, so we'll try to leech the XP a little bit with Tala, but Ikirin's going to attack, just because we obviously don't want the plague transferred to Tala here. So, do that. I believe it can only be transferred to the attacking army, though I suppose I could be wrong, we'll see. And nobody dies. I probably should have checked that was my bad. And we will abduct those captives, and oh, I actually didn't get the plague. Well, that's just swell. And Tala leveled up. Now, Tala, you're gonna be the one who's sacking the place, so we're gonna give you Wonders of the Forest. And yeah, get more raising settlements. Well, then we could get one more level on the way, but I fear we'd get the plague from the from Fort Strask, and Skaven plague frightens me. Yeah, let's move here. We'll still stay in our own territory, but move on to the Hell Pit after. And I guess, well, honestly, if one of these guys attacks Prague, do we really care? Probably not. We can reclaim it afterwards if we want to. Honestly, we probably just want to give it to these guys to allow them to get a little bit stronger and protect this territory. When the Vermintide of the Skaven spawn, they'll spawn around Hell Pit as well, so they'll have to be dealing with a lot of them anyway. And Kieran, yeah, follow along. We'll probably need a little bit of help. Yeah, Tala. There's a lot of enemies that help it, so... Not by yourself, I don't think. You do need a new Dryad, but we can't get one right now, okay. And it'll be a while before you get your branch rates. Okie dokie, well, that's not what we're doing, though. There will be other battles. Now, we want to see what we're going to do with Akka here. We do want to raise the Pillars of Grugny on the one hand, but on the other hand, Mr. Dusty also needs to be destroyed. Maybe we just leave Mount Squidcorn. Allow this guy to retake it. How far can you go, by the way? Dusty can't move past the World's Edge Archway, but... if we go into March stance, I think that then we can't intercept. And we might be able to intercept this way. I'm a little bit worried about him running away, though. But he does have a lot of trolls, and he should think Aka's army is pretty weak. Alrighty, let's send out this way. It's not like we care about holding on to these territories. The only thing I don't like is the fact that we're waiting here, dealing with stuff, and not heading out to the Forest of Gloom, which is one of our goals here. Anyway, Tala, Durthu. Durthu, you're about to attack. In fact, you're going to auto-resolve Carrick Ziflin, probably. As in, probably auto-resolve. Yeah, okay, that's pathetic. And what's the raise value? Oh, I was not expecting that much. Nice. And we'll want to keep this because it does have red dyes or whatever. Durthu, stop walking so far, man. Come on. We would be in range of Castle Baston if we wanted it next turn, though. Huh. We could always return to Blackstone Post and stuff. One of the reasons I wanted to do that was to head Daertag down to Helmgart, where we will be fighting a nice cinematic. Though... we'll level him up. Isalal, looks like you will not be able to reach him, unfortunately. Damn. You won't be able to join your brother Isalal. I think there was a suggestion for renaming those two to something else. Gotta double check my little sheet. Oh, I gotta figure out a better way to keep track of name suggestions, man. It's tough. It's tough. Anyway, let's, before fighting... you know what? Yeah, let's, before fighting, do some building, even if there's not a lot. Might as well do it right now. Let's start with you, Artisan's Nexus, and then we're gonna go for the winery afterwards. Oh, losing a little bit of control here. Haunted Forest. We just upgraded you. There's not a lot to upgrade as usual. Ah, yes, the Crags of Findal. We have Druthandor. Damn. And we also have to get rid of the Forest Lookouts, which I forgot to do, apparently. Alright, let's build Druthandor. We'll do the Forest Lookouts next. We need the Arbiter's Perch, or the Garrison building everywhere. Does Kingsglade have it? Yes, okay, we're building it. Good. And I guess in Kingsglade we'll also want to delete one of the useless buildings to and get the special building. We have the forest lookout here, though we maybe want to keep those around to get more glade captains for a few other armies. Oh, there's a Town of Ruinous one. And a tough one. What about Waystalkers? Just checking here. We got this. Ooh, another Town of Ruinous on the Waystalker? Yes. Yes, definitely. In fact, wait, Colas. Waystalker 1 is Ariel's Chosen, and Waystalker 2 is also Ariel's Chosen, which is fine, but I think I'd rather have another Town of Ruinous in there. And just gotta keep an eye on the Waystalkers for more Town of Ruinous spam. And once again, I'm kind of tempted to get the one of these guys as a Town of Ruinous, but it really does depend on which army we put them in. Because the tough, you know what? I actually like the tough one as well. Let's get you on the field too. And the reason for that, what are you? Cunning, I have poison attacks. The reason I like that is because we're gonna put one of these guys into a new army shortly, as we do have enough money to get more armies on the field. Anyway, I believe that's all the stuff that we need to build, unless there's something that I've forgotten. Haunted Forest, no, we're waiting to build that. And that's it. Alrighty. So that means it's time for the Air Force to get its proper debut here, -1 hero. Let's level up the Spell Singer to whatever we can. I guess we can get scouting for this. Maybe we'll get some magic items, and then you, very slight leveling. Let's get you Dance Loic. Let's get you... I wonder, you know what? We're gonna give you Possessed of the Trickster God rather than bothering with Heir of Ruinous. I have an idea. If we do this and send you to Helmgard, but we check this Esau because he's very close to being able to reach the army. What if... Okay, encircle. What if we give this Isolal increased mobility? He's not in an army, but maybe by himself it'll be enough. And then you can have the level 1 Dance of Loic, because they don't stack at level 2. Alrighty, and can you reach this? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It's just so slight. A shame. A shame. Maybe if he's right beside him he can, but we'll see. Come on. It doesn't look like it, but you never know.
A waste of my time.
It was close. It was worth a try, if nothing else. Alrighty, well, let's get to this. Let's see what our Air Force can do. Gonna be a valiant defeat, according to this. We also have the Lichbone Penitent here, which I guess we'll give to our Lord for now. Huh. Also, wait, what? You're telling me the Spell Singer, the floating magician that does nothing but cast, doesn't have magical attacks. Okay. The Glade Captain has magical attack. What the heck is going on here? Okay, I guess I'll give it to you, just to give you magical attacks. Not that you really need them here, but for now. And here we go, let's see what our Air Force can do in its current form. And ooh, time to compare our Manticores and our Great Eagles. I'm pretty interested in that comparison as well. Alrighty, here we go. I'm excited about this one. Manticores, Eagles, and Forest Dragons. Our Air Force now in proper form and ready to try out their effectiveness. Granted, this isn't a real stack, but it is a pretty good army, even if it isn't a real stack, as we saw. They've got a very solid amount of halberdiers and great swords, plus decent amounts of handgunners, crossbowmen. Lots of stuff, basically. Plus, this is a settlement battle as well. And here come the Manticores and the Eagles dropping down on the enemy and exploding a decent amount of them as well. The enemy does not, by virtue of the fact that they've cleared the walls, seem to want to bother holding that, but that works out fairly well for us. The Forest Dragons are going to get their breaths off on the enemy on the enemy handgunners and halberdiers, the more threatening of those two units. And there's the menace below, or not the menace below, I gotta get on the mind, the dwellers below, rather, in the biggest blob of enemies that were available to us. Looks like it did about 3/4 damage to crossbows and halberdiers, knights. I think this crossbow or unit is actually getting killed by the manticores and eagles instead of the others. Speaking of the various flyers, here come the great hawks and the bats to help matters out. Our lord, or not our lord, our spell singer is going to drop down to help the knights. Our dragons will continue anchoring this flank so that the enemy does not too much surround our eagles and our manticores. Our bats are also chasing around this enemy mortar. Not that mortar is actually any kind of threat to us. I'm actually a little bit regretting bothering with dealing with the mortar with the bats. Perhaps by leaving it, the mortar would have done more damage to its own troops than to us. And in fact, that's fairly likely considering we mostly have single entities here. However, this is supposed to be a test of the manticores and the eagles' battle prowess, so perhaps if the mortar had done too much damage, that would be less kills for all of these guys. I think perhaps the manticores are probably better at infantry blending, whereas the eagles are probably better at targeting single target entities and dropping on them in numbers. That's generally the way I use the eagles, but to be fair, it's also the way I generally use the manticores, so we'll see. Well, the units that are stuck between this pile of flyers are very, very, very dead. Or having a very bad day, anyway. Or we're having a very bad day. Anyway, looks like this portion of the battlefield is somewhat clear, but the hawks and the bats have other things to do. There are handgunners and crossbows still on this side. And plus we want to have at least some units here when our lord actually breaks through that gate. Though it has taken a while. Handgunners are trying to run, but the bats will drop down on him. Any second now. They're kind of following them. There they go.
Destroy it!
And as we saw in the fight against the Daemonettes, the bats and the hawks are pretty okay in combination since they were able to kill the Daemonettes just fine. And the Daemonettes do quite a lot of melee damage, so we really shouldn't be afraid of the bats, rather, when they're dealing with handgunners or crossbows or other weak range units. The hawks here, however, fighting halberdiers, a little bit more of a dangerous proposition, so we're going to reinforce with even more hawks and move the first unit of hawks out of the fray as they were starting to take damage to the halberdiers, allow them to switch targets, and then move back into the battle after that. Alrighty, well done everybody. How are our dragons and our other flyers doing? Looks like the HP is pretty okay, though our spell singer being out front has actually taken a bit of damage here. I think we need to get her an armor or something so that she doesn't get too badly damaged like this anymore. Though to be fair, this is kind of my fault for bothering to even drop down the unit here in the fray against all of this anti-large. And yeah, once again, I feel like this is a pretty decent test for these units, because look at all these halberdiers and spears. There's just so much anti-large on the field. And one other thing, we got bats chasing off units that are moving off the screen. Maybe I shouldn't have bothered doing that, just to allow them to come back, so we once again have more kills available for the manticore and the eagle test. But you know, if nothing else, it's helping out the spell singer so that she's a little bit less surrounded. Alrighty, well done to the eagle. There you go. Oh, that's a nice little animation. Though the problem with that is, ooh, I also like that when they do the wing thing and it actually knocks knocks units away. You know, I haven't watched the eagle's animations a lot, but I am liking them. We could also watch the dragons, I suppose, but we have seen them do their thing a lot more than we have the eagles, though we have gotten a few manticore shots throughout this campaign. Anyway, by the looks of it, the enemy army is now done for. There was still a decent amount of units that remained here, but they were all at like 3/4 HP. Our spell singer definitely took the brunt of the damage from the enemy, but overall it wasn't all that difficult of a battle. We lost a few units, but that was hawks and bats. Obviously none of our single entities dropped, and I think this eagle was probably the most hurt unit other than our Spellslinger, but fortunately we have Regrowth and Earthblood. One of the good things about this particular army is that since it's mostly made up of single entities, we can pretty much always get it all back up to full HP right after the battle, and just like we would if we were playing an undead faction. Lovely. Looks like all these guys are now full health. Just gotta heal up the rest of them. Oh, it looks like we have reached our healing cap, or have sighted at least our healing cap with our Spellslinger, but it's still not gonna be too bad. And unfortunately our Lord didn't get to do much in this particular battle. He took too long to break through the gate. It was a little bit my fault. I deployed him here with the rest of our ranged units, so he had to walk all this slow way to the gate, rather than having been deployed as close to the gate as possible. It's a little bit of a shame that the ancient treemen don't have the ability to break down walls, but oh well. I mean, I suppose they're already such strong lords that adding even more buffs to them, even sort of side buffs like that, is a little bit much. Anyway, decisive victory. Pretty happy with the army as it is, though I would like to see if it'll perform better once we have the two... I don't know where the... I don't know where the Glade Captain is, but once we have those guys on their aerial mounts as well. Alrighty, not too bad. Looks like we've got more kills on our Hawks than the single entities, but that's not surprising, and it isn't always true either. Now, in terms of damage, let's see, the Eagles, 5k, 3k, 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 and then 4.5, 4.6, and then 7.5 on the Manticores. Interesting. It seems like the base stats should see the Eagles do more damage, but perhaps the Manticores, by virtue of Frenzy in combination with several other things, are making them do a little bit better, but, you know, small sample size, we'll have to do a little bit more testing before we figure that out. Let's erase Helmgard here. Let's see how far you walk away. And pretty far by the... Ooh, wait. Can you... Huh. Oh, wow, that actually really worked out. We're gonna immediately colonize them on Fok here. Very, very nice. I was not expecting that. And, oh, Isilal could have actually joined this army if I hadn't moved him. Damn. Oh, well. Oh, well, not a big deal. Let's see. Now... Also, do you have Scent of Blood? Yes, you do. So he was applying Frenzy to those units. We, I suppose, should keep going through Wonders of the Forest here because, well, we get a lot of benefit from it. And there you go. Alright. Alright. Lots of Air Force trials were had before this, but now, finally, the Air Force is in its proper form. Still want one more Manticore, but, well, looks like we don't have one yet. Although maybe we just keep 4 Eagles and 3 Manticores, but if the Manticores are better in some ways, maybe the Manticores should outnumber the Eagles instead, or at least be equal. I don't know. I don't know. Once again, the problem with Manticores is that they rampage, and that's just really irritating. And it lasts quite a while as well. They also do have the 10% physical resistance over the Eagles, but the Eagles will get a 10% of their own by virtue of the wisdom of the Eagle Lords, plus a little bit more damage as well. Once we get that, so maybe they'll even out. Anyway, I believe that's it for this turn. There doesn't appear to be too much else that we can do. We've checked the heroes, we've done the buildings, so I guess we go next. And let's just take a quick look before we press that at Drycha. And we'll see what we can do in the imminent forest invasion. Ooh, that also reminds me. We may want to raise some stuff here, just temporarily. On Deluric, we'll take Mount Thug. In fact, wait, maybe we'll move here. And recruit as much stuff as possible. Yeah, it's gonna cost us money, but it's not like it's actually going to cost us that much money. We may have to use Deluric to defend Nobbly Gorge against this army, depending on what's in it. 3 turns, I'm not going to bother calculating whether Drycha can actually reach that or not. Alright. We also do still have to delete Deluric, right? You are what? Your Resplendence of Luminescence. I do like Resplendence of Luminescence, though. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's both a fairly decent buff plus that spell resistance debuff. But we can always get it on on Dryads if we want to as well. We'll see. And we'll see. Oh, right, we also want to get Maugate from this guy. We were going to trade Kareka Zorn, but I guess not this turn. We'll see about doing that next turn. Alrighty, well, let's end the turn then. Unassigned skill points, buildings up... What? Oh, right. We have an open slot in one of our territories, but that does nothing. Not until we fill it with... Hello, Tyrion, what do you want? Again? These guys really don't know what they want. They keep ending those trade agreements, going for those trade agreements. Very odd. But well, we'll figure out what to do with them at some point, or destroy them, and replace them with something. Once again, I do have to wonder what Noctilus is doing. If Noctilus gets even one territory there on the donut, then we'll just give it all to Noctilus. And the underway interception did in fact work out. Alrighty, I'm very happy about that, so it means that we didn't waste our time in moving here. The only problem, of course, with this underway interception is the fact that we won't be able to get good angles on running around the enemy army. But I'm still reasonably happy with this. Looks like the enemy has a lot of those trolls, but we do have all that anti-large bonus on a lot of our units because of Aka's current office position. So for now, this does work out. I wonder why this guy's building just so damn many different type of trolls. And in fact, he really should be building more stone trolls than really any of these other trolls. But should be an interesting fight. We'll do it cinematically yet again for Aka, who's definitely been one of the stars of this campaign. It looks like will continue to be such. All right, here we go. I am so happy that this particular battle actually worked out, or the underway interception. There was obviously no guarantee that Dusty would even bother coming up here, rather than either A, run away, or B, go for Vlad's territories. However, the anti-player bias does work in our favor, some of the time at least. Alrighty, and it looks like the enemy isn't going to try to go towards us. I suppose in an interception, it counts as if we are the attackers, but that's just fine. Now, briefly, in terms of the setup, we have our main line, which is made up of the Dryads, some spiders, and all of our bears, whereas we do have a fairly decent amount in the form of the hawks, some spiders, and all of our giant wolves waiting in the background as well. We're also not moving forward quite yet, because it seems that Dusty, in fact, wants to drop down and duel Aka. This does not seem like a very good idea. Granted, Aka's being debuffed by the Helm of Discord, but Aka has his own buffs, and at this point is a pretty darn strong lord. So I don't see this going well for Mr. Dusty here. There we go, and now Aka is poisoned Helm of Discord, but he has used Foe Seeker and Sword of Anti-Heroes, and he's hitting for 736. In fact, Dusty immediately turns away, having seen that, and dropped by about a quarter of his HP, and sends a bunch of trolls instead to deal with Aka to cover his retreat. But that does make sense. That's okay though. Aka is going to immediately pop an Overcast Shield of Thorns upon himself so that he doesn't take as much damage, and the trolls do a little bit to themselves. Dusty's gonna move back in, but if they're going to commit half of their force to the main line here, to the center here, then we can do the same thing as well. And there we are. Now the battle is properly joined. We peeled away a few units to try to kill this damn River Troll Hag, as we don't want her using that Spirit Leech over and over on our bears. I actually don't particularly care if she were to Spirit Leech our Lord Aka, but the bears dropping models means we can't heal those up. And there we go. Very much surrounded by trolls. I don't think I've ever fought the AI with this many trolls at the same time, and on top of that, this many trolls and not really much support. And on top of that, this isn't even Throg's army. This is just regular orcs, although they do seem to like building trolls quite a bit. A little bit surprising. Anyway, now that the enemy has committed all of those trolls to the action, they're also going to get those pump wagons in. and it looks like they want to hit us from the sides and go after our dryads. That's just fine for us though, because our giant wolves have been waiting for their opportunity, and they should be able to destroy pump wagons extremely quickly if past experience is anything to go by. So these pump wagons are caught, the other ones are about to be caught as well, and we're looking good. And in fact, we're getting a decent amount of surround going for various enemies. Here we've gotten that river troll hag surrounded, so the enemy tried to apply those gobos and trolls, but then we immediately charged them in the back as well. Battle's going fairly well so far. It's still pretty much even a little tiny bit in our favor, but the positioning, I think, definitely goes to us here. Enemy's not really getting too much good flanking out of the way, and as we're starting to drop enemy units. One of those pump wagons is gone, the other two are wavering already, having been chased and focused down by those wolves, and will be out of the picture as well. Just like this troll unit, which has gotten attacked by our hawks, spiders, and one more unit of giant wolves. Lovely. And there's a Spirit Leech coming down once again from that River Troll Hag, but being kind of wasted, frankly, on a unit of Dryads, especially as Akka is still moving around, casting Earthblood. Also giving chase to Dusty a little bit, whipping him with his whip claws. Just whipping him in the back and saying, come back here. There you go, turn around. What do you even call that that weapon that the ancient tree man uses? I'm just gonna keep calling them whip claws. Although I guess a whip is like a, well, it's like a what am I thinking? Like a cat o' nine tails claws or something instead, because it is like a multiple-ended thing. Yeah, well, not that it really matters that much, and I frankly doubt that it actually has a name, or like. I mean, this guy's weapon actually has a name, not the actual whip types. Anyway, that complete digression aside, we are now very much in, or the battle rather is now very much in our favor. As we can see, plenty of enemy troll units are being ripped apart by bears and other units. There's still a fairly decent amount of troll units holding the main line here, but I think that with Dusty, they should be gone shortly, and Akka will continue to give chase to him. Once again, they really should have gone with more stone trolls. These river trolls and regular trolls probably aren't doing too much to them, or for them rather. And here come the hawks. They're going to move in to hit the back of the enemy troll line, and the enemy lord looks like he's going to land beside Akka as well, which, as we've already seen, is kind of a terrible idea. It looks like all these trolls are running, and here comes some giant wolves as well to either chase them or hurt the ones that are still fighting. And I do believe with that, the battle should be ours. And in fact, down goes Dusty, and I guarantee that with his death, the rest of his army's shattered. Well done, Haka, actually finally catching him, and once again, you really shouldn't have bothered trying to duel him, Dusty. He was much better off trying to go around and killing individual feral bears rather than going after Akka, even though the latter was chasing him around the battle. Now, obviously, we don't need to actually chase anybody here, but I think our single Waystalker, who, once again, doesn't really need to be in this army, but has been here for a while. Our single Waystalker got a little bit hurt, so we just heal him up a bit, and leave the rest, because they will all die to the Interception, and once again, well done to Akka. Alrighty, there we go. Vlad's holdings are safe for another day as Dusty bites the Dusty. Now we... what is that? Why do some units have a little red line under the skull and then some units have a little blue line under the skull? What is that? Wait, do these units normally have any lines? Ah, look, the blue line, blue line, blue line on all of our Dryads. What is that? None of our other ones. And why would one... Oh, I know what that is. That's the upgrades. Okay, that's the aspects, and then the equivalent on the orc army. Okay. It's just displayed very weirdly here. Anyway, got a free Talisman of Endurance. We are going to heal up, though we are in friendly territory, and then hopefully we can move back to where we were last time. Angry Gods or a tribute? I think we want Angry Gods here. I mean, a few of our territories don't have good control, but then again, if they lose, if their control goes to negative, then the extra growth won't help because it'll be, yeah, you know, fine, let's go with tribute. Because extra control means extra growth anyway, so yeah, fine. Ally mission successful for Sylvania. Enemy killed in battle. Talisman of Endurance, yes. Another Val's Anvil Smith, which are always nice. And Forest Encounters. We got one near the Oak of Ages. Is this going to turn into an army? I don't know. And where was the other one? Invasion imminent. Oh, okay, that was this. Okay, that's fine. Drycha's gonna take care of this, but it looks like that'll have to wait until next episode. Let's just quickly take Mount Thug here with Deluric. And then we'll move back down to hopefully fight that at Knobbly Gorge, or with Drycha if we can, and if not, we'll send Drycha down to Haunted Forest and then send her through the world routes. We'll probably need somebody to be taking care of the Darklands orcs and the orcs here in general, but I probably don't want to waste Drycha on that. Drycha would rather go and conquer new territories. Otherwise, let's see, will Durthu be able to reach a Blackstone post in one move? No. We do want to attack that, and ooh, that's a lot of Graveguard with great weapons, plus a fairly strong garrison here. Okay, that actually looks like it'll be a fun battle for Durthu, strong as his army currently is. That makes me quite excited. I was gonna have you take Castle Baston. I guess we could raise and move up there after. I just hope that this army doesn't move away from it. Anyway, we'll have to figure that out next time, as well as how we catch Grom the Paunch. We could try running after him with Colas, though his army's still a little bit beat up. There's two Arachnaroks here, but as we saw, the Arachnaroks weren't actually any kind of problem for this army. He doesn't have a Wa, he does have a little bonus army with another Arachnarok, and maybe that would be too much, but, certainly potential for a fun fight there, so yeah, stay tuned for that, and us figuring out which fights we will take. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.